Let's do this.
Okay, let's talk about the moment nobody plans for. Everything's connected, everything's integrated, everything's working. But then something breaks. Or worse, something gets in that shouldn't be there. Now, the question isn't how advanced is your system, it's who's in control and what the hell happens next. And that's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NENA certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes controversial takes on emergency communications. Today, we wrap up our fictitious Ivy League campus series. Over the last 6 episodes, we've covered fragmentation, the NG911 integration, architecture, IoT overload, the operational use, and what a good deployment actually looks like. Now today we're talking about the part that makes or breaks all of it: security, governance, and the oh no moment. What breaks first? So let's start here. When complex systems fail, they don't fail cleanly. They fail at the seams, at the integrations, and at the handoffs. That shiny architecture that we built, well, it depends on multiple systems, multiple vendors, and multiple data sources. So when something ends up going wrong, it usually ends up being a data mismatch, a service outage, a broken integration, or most of the time, a bad assumption. So it's not the systems that fail, it's usually the connection between them. The security reality nobody wants to admit. Okay, time to get uncomfortable again, but just for a second. You just connected UCaaS platforms, IoT devices, security systems, and next-generation 911 access. It's all now living in a shared ecosystem. That's powerful. It's also a bigger attack surface than you've ever had before. So ask yourself this: are these systems segmented? Are they authenticated properly? And are they being monitored in real time? Or did we just hook everything up and hope for the best? So if your soda machine can see your emergency network, you probably have a problem. The ownership problem. Ownership is where things really start to fall apart. You can start with asking a simple question: who owns the system? Is it IT, public safety, facilities, a vendor? Because right now in most environments, the answer is a little bit of everyone, but that ends up meaning no one's truly accountable. So when something breaks, who fixes it? Who decides? Who owns the outcome? And if that answer isn't clear, you don't have governance, you have risk. Policy versus technology. Here's something that we talk about all the time, but don't talk about enough. Technology moves fast. Policy does not. So what happens? We end up deploying new integrations, new capabilities, brand new data flows. But we fail to clearly define things like when they should be used, who can access them, and what decisions that they support. And that's what ends up leading to inconsistent use, overreach, and hesitation at the worst possible time. If your dispatchers don't know what they're allowed to do, they won't do anything when it matters most. The oh no scenario. This is the gut check. Let's walk this one out carefully. There's a major incident on campus. Systems light up. Data starts flowing. Everything that we built is in play. But then a data feed drops. Data starts to conflict. An alert goes out wrong. Or worse, something was compromised. Now what? Do your dispatchers trust the system? Override the system? Know what's actually real? Or do they hesitate? Because hesitation is where time gets lost. How not to screw this up? Okay, now let's fix it. First, define ownership. You need one governing authority with clear accountability and a defined decision hierarchy. Next, you need to segment everything. IoT devices need to be separated. Public safety networks need to be isolated. And zero trust principles applied everywhere. Next, you need to validate. Monitor your data integrity. Look for and detect any anomalies, and confirm your system health in real time. To protect your environment, you need to train for failure. Not just how it works, but how it breaks. You need to run scenarios where data is wrong, systems are down, inputs conflict, and then take all of that information and write the policy before you need it. Document things like who can act, what they can trust, when to escalate problems, and when to override them. Because when you're in the moment of a real emergency, you're not going to have time to figure it out. Reality check. The more advanced your system becomes, the more important governance becomes. That's because complexity without control is just risk at scale, and risk is what we're trying to avoid. The bottom line. Look, innovation doesn't fail because of technology. It fails because of things like poor ownership, weak governance, and untested assumptions. You need to build the system right, but more importantly, run it right. Because the oh no moment isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when always comes when you least expect it. That wraps up today's episode of Tips Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, remember to follow me on social media at Fletch911. And you can visit 911tips.com for a complete archive of my previous episodes. Remember, my blogs are available online at Fletch.tv. And my professional website is at Fletch911.com. Stay safe. Thanks so much for listening. And if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
You've been listening to Tips Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.